All right, we're zooming again. I see a red light. Are you out there, Ken Egu? How are you?
I'm all right, Brian. Just trying to stay positive. How you doing?
I'm real good. You know, as I said, for me, it's all about the Zoom. And this is how we communicate now. I'm trying to think, people know a little bit about you and me, and just the fact that we know each other. I mean, that's kind of the story. Do you remember that first day I met you there at Salle?
Of course, man. I was working out and you walked all across the field just to say what's up. So, I thought that was a good gesture. So I got to at least talk to the guy. So,
Exactly. No,
yeah.
no. So I was there, I'm just watching the team, and I saw you the day before pulling the sled. And then I was
Yes.
back there the next day. You're still pulling the sled. It's hot.
Yeah.
You're pulling the sled by yourself. And so I knew there had to be a story. So I walked over, and that's it. And you had a good line. Says, I think this middle-aged guy is coming over to talk to me. What's going on here?
That's
And,
right. Yeah.
we just had a good conversation. And then it was the Instagram. And it was just interesting to learn about you through the Instagram, to see your passion. Yeah, tell people know about football and track, but tell people what's your passion.
Oh, I would say that storytelling and being an artist is like what I would say my passion. And whichever way I can do that, whether it's 2D or 3D, working with you with documentaries, I love to tell good stories. So that's the best way I would say that's my passion. Yeah.
Right, and I saw it right away. I think you have tell people about that freehand drawing series. And also, where's it? KenEguTV.com? How do people find you?
Yeah, that's my website, KenEguTV.com. But I would say follow me on Instagram at KenEguTV. That's the best way to stay updated with everything that I do. Your question about the drawings, yeah, I mean, 2020 started out with Kobe Bryant, so that situation just really hit me so hard and impacted me that usually, like, when I become very emotional, I try to put those emotions into the artwork. So I wanted to use the artwork as a way to kind of like mourn and kind of understand and come to grasp with what happened. So that was the main thinking behind the drawings. Yeah.
Yeah, with the current climate and the Black Lives Matter, I mean, this is something that you've been working on for years. Tell me some of the things you've been doing or have done.
Yes, it all started in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For me, um, one thing that I remember was the Baltimore riots that happened back in 2016. It really impacted the culture and the way people kind of felt in Pittsburgh. So while I was at Duquesne working on my degree for digital media, it came time to do a final project. So what we chose was to focus on the police and their relationship with the Black and Brown communities in the city of Pittsburgh. And we were able to interview the president of the NAACP, Constance Parker, and the current president, Richard Stewart. Constance Parker has since passed away, God rest her soul. And we were also able to interview the chief of police at the time of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So so for us, it was more focused on getting both sides of the story, the police side and the community side. And we created a documentary on that, which you can watch on KenEguTV.com. And, we fast forward to my time at USC. I also was part of a documentary that dealt with the actions of Colin Kaepernick and him taking a knee. In my documentary, I talk about how when I first saw Colin Kaepernick take a knee, I felt as if that wouldn't be enough to end police brutality and systemic racism. But the way that people reacted and how it became the intent became so vilified really motivated me to have to speak out and kind of talk about how for myself as a young Black man in America, if I get pulled over by the police, it's constant stress because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to lose my life tonight talking to this police officer. So, and that's a problem that any body in this country should feel that way when interacting with law enforcement. So for me, represented the fact that I, as a Black person in America, I'm not really that free. Like I'm not as free as people think that I should be or that I am. Because when this happens, this is what happens. So with George Floyd and everything that's happening now, it just goes back to the title of the documentary is Land of the Free with the question mark at the end. So we have to, the question mark is meant to represent that we as ourselves need to look at our country and do we really represent what we say we represent? Do we want to uphold to the standard of the Constitution and everything that we've been preaching? Like, so this is our moment, this is our opportunity to do that. So I always believe in activism through art. So what I'm trying to do is be the best at that.
No, that's powerful. And you're doing your thing with the art, your photos, not the photos, but the drawings. But I think that question mark you talked about, that's why people are in the streets, correct?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I'm proud of my generation. I'm proud of the younger generation. I'm proud of the generation under me, the teenagers, like everybody, the young adults, the college kids. I'm proud of everybody that was out there protesting because we've changed the climate. We've definitely changed the climate. But what's most important that could really, really alter this climate is what's going to happen with this verdict, what's going to happen with the laws that are passed to protect Black and brown people from police brutality, and how we vote in 2020. That's going to decide, those three things will decide if we're serious about making a change in America.
Say no more. That's very powerful. And
Yeah.
what else? I'm trying to think. Do you have? Are in your mind right now? Are there some drawings? Is there What's? Or you're still formulating what can be done?
Um, I think it's bigger than me. I feel like the things that will ultimately decide or kind of change the climate would um, have to be how people vote and what happens with this verdict that's coming up, and what happens with the laws that need to be passed to protect Black people from the police officers, from crooked police officers. Um, so I feel like that's more my outlook right now. And when that happens, then I'll see what the climate is, and whatever inspires me then is probably what's going to inspire me then. So
Right, and you're. I mean, you're actually you're from people. You're from Nigeria, then the Bay
right.
Area, and now L.A. What's the differences and the similarities between all that? This is kind of a strange question.
Nigeria is how would I describe it? I grew up there for most of my childhood, but I started my teenage years here in the States and mostly in the Bay Area. So Nigeria was more like my foundation. It was more like I learned a lot of discipline. I learned a lot of humility. I learned a lot of just this the Nigerian culture. I would say that, especially specifically the Igbo culture, is very humble, very creative. So me being an artist is very much part of my Igbo nature. But coming to America, that kind of gave me my education. That kind of gave me the platform. That kind of gave me more opportunities. So I guess that'll be the biggest difference between Nigeria and America.
Yeah. And then for me, I just think about all the stuff I've been doing at De La Salle. And people don't know this, you know this. Of all the people I met, you probably were the most key because you've like bridged the gap. You have like Teron Ward would know me, but he knows me because of you. And all the younger people, how is it that you and I, we're smiling? I mean, it's just a blessing that we met that day. It was 5 years later. That was the summer of 2015. And you've been in LA for the longest time. We're still good friends. I cherish this. How did this happen?
Um, by the grace of God, Brian. By the
Yeah.
grace of God, because I really don't know how it happened. It was just um, meeting you was a great opportunity for me too, because we kind of had a similar mindset as far as similar interests in De La Salle and being creative. So it just felt right, man. So that's why when it came time to do the documentary, yeah, it almost felt like everything fell into place like easily for us, bro. Like we just had, it was easy to do, and I feel like we were the best team to do it. So, and we put out, I believe, the best product. So we'll we'll definitely keep making Behind the Glory.
No, that's
But
the thing. It's still there, and
yeah,
I'm still doing it to this day to a different extent. That's another thing. Like I introduced you to some people you wouldn't know, but to me, it was the Amigos. I knew Nate. I knew of Johnny Tucker. I knew of Deshaun Spencer, but I didn't understand what they did together.
right.
And maybe talk about that. Nate was your coach, your position coach. Is that how did you learn about the Amigos?
The Amigos is like a legendary tale that we tell, that us young Spartans tell. You know, they have a lot of, respect in the community just because of what they were able to accomplish on the field and off the field, because a lot of them actually went and played D1, went to these great institutions, and, actually like doing really well for themselves now too. So it's like a brotherhood. It's like a brotherhood within the brotherhood. So that's what us as like younger Spartans, we were the little brothers of the Amigos. So what we had to do was we had to establish our own type of legacy, to kind of copy them and do something, that they did. So I think that's what the Amigos meant to us in my class. But I'm fortunate because a lot of those guys came back and started coaching. That's how I was able to meet Nate and a lot of the guys, Cam, TJ, Maurice. So I'm glad that they also gave back to the community after they left, because that's part of their legacy too. It's like the Amigos, that could just be a high school team. Nobody even cares anymore. But the fact that they still keep giving back to the young Spartans, it's like they keep the legend alive, and everybody keeps remembering the Amigos. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, it's neat. And also, when I was talking with Tehran yesterday, he had a good point. How when Tehran was a young kid, he was around those guys, and then
Right.
it's to Drew's little brother Trey. Do you remember Trey White being around when you were
Yeah.
playing? And
Yeah,
tell
for
people who
sure.
Trey White. Yeah, go ahead.
Trey White, he's the GOAT. He's doing his thing. We watched him grow up. So, and he was right there with us in the trenches when we were working out in the off season. He was trying to do every workout that we were doing. So, he's a Spartan prodigy for sure.
Right, exactly. But I mean, it just goes on and on,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of it personally. Like Nate's humble. I mean, he really helped you out. People, as I said, they know you for football and track. The whole thing at Washington when it didn't work out, he got you to Duquesne. Tell
Right.
people about that.
Right. Yeah. Nate is family. He was the first person I knew I had to talk to when I knew I was transferring from Washington. I was looking for an opportunity just to at least get my school paid for. That was the biggest thing on my mind, is at least get that money to go to school for free. So he was a good guy that I knew that I had to talk to, because he knew all the right people to make that happen. So yeah, it was like one meeting, we talked, and he made some calls, and Duquesne had an opportunity. There were actually a couple of different opportunities, but Duquesne it felt like the best opportunity. So Nate put me on the right track. It's always people that help you on your way up. He put me on the right track, because when I got to Duquesne, that's when I got into digital media, because they had a program there, and that's what got me into USC. And now here I am. So, um, yeah, Nate Cannon is definitely family for sure.
Right. No, and it is, and it was athletics leading to academics, and then he
Right.
told me specifically it was your track tape. Were you aware of that? Your 100 speed. That's what they were most interested in. And yeah, that's
Right.
what. And at the time, did you think it was Duquesne?
Yup. I said it just like that too. I said, Duquesne? Is that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
what?
Tell people that don't know how's it spelled.
Duquesne. It's French. They're French Catholics. So yeah, it's a different place. It's not like most institutions, but as far as traditional type of feel, but it's more. It's a very humble place, and it's a place you got to put in work, because it's like in a really blue collar town. So you got to put in work to get anything out of that place.
Well, it's Pittsburgh, man. It's a steel town.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
mean,
for sure. They are not joking about that.
exactly. And I'm trying to think what else though. What other the neat was the thing, and that led you to. I mean, you're a master's. I mean, you went to USC. Not to play football, but tell people what you were doing there and what you left there with, and then also your football background. You're able to walk freely around that football program.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. USC. I applied and got in. By the grace of God. So when I was in the program, I ran into some of my old football coaches, and they were coaching at USC. So, um, yeah, they gave me an opportunity to do a slight internship there, and it actually worked out. We made some dope content. We got some, dope work done with them. So, um, yeah, that I was just grateful for the opportunity. It's a 360 uh, video of game day at USC. So the premise was, if you like lived in a different state and you couldn't come to a game, but you wanted to know what it was like to be like on the field for the coin toss, on the bench, post game, in the locker room, stuff like that. But, that was what we were trying to go for. So you can check them out on my website, KenEguTV.com.
Ken Egu,
Yes, it's right there.
KenEguTV.com. No, and
Yeah.
you have that futuristic camera. Tell people about that. We get like, would you have to hold it up and you get everything around you? And you're making cameos. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 360 video. Yeah, 360 cameras. Yeah, they shoot. There's basically it's like multiple different cameras, like 6 different cameras in a row, all lined up next to each other, and they're all taking pictures at the same time. So it kind of puts you in a 3D, 3.5D type of world when you're in there.
No, and also the other advantage you have, most of the people doing all this digital stuff or the video, they're out of shape, or you're walking around, they think you're on the team. I mean, tell people about the hill you run, and then not today, but there's sometimes photos you go on Instagram without your shirt, and so keep your shirt on. I don't want to be.
My shirt is always on. I only show like stomach. I never show. My shirt is always on. Like.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. No, I appreciate you wearing a shirt.
I saved the rest of that for my wife.
I got you. Okay, that's how you roll. But as I said, no. But I meant you had the football knowledge. You have the technical knowledge. Tell people what you're doing now and what you want to be doing. Because you can do anything.
Right on. Yeah. So because I can do anything, I really it doesn't really come to me as far as me wanting to do something. It's more like the battle chooses you. You don't choose the battle. So so a lot of these projects have happened like that. So I can't really tell you what's next right now, but what we're working on currently right now is this video game about bringing the Bible to the future. So what we're doing is, we believe that there's a gap between how people perceive the Bible, like with our parents and our grandparents, versus how the younger generation perceives the Bible. So the medium is different. Everybody young right now is on a smartphone or a tablet or some type of handheld device, versus the Bible just being in a book, in a text, old English. So what we wanted to do is kind of meet them where they're at and create this interactive visual content by telling the story of a futuristic Bible, futuristic adaptation of the Bible, and have you download that on your phone and play it as an app on your phone. So that's what we're working on right now.
No, I've seen, I think, bits and pieces of that on the Ken Egu, your Instagram, and that makes sense. Bringing the Bible to where everyone's looking at it right now. That's right. You're always thinking. Have you always been like this?
Always, Brian. Always.
Yeah, I know that. I knew the answer before I asked you. And I'm trying to think what else. Taking it back to De La Salle, what did you learn there from like Ladd and Justin Allenbaugh?
They taught me how to work. They taught me how to be a part of a team. They taught me Like Lad specifically, Lad, I have a more of a deeper relationship with Lad because I had more classes with him as a teacher and I had him as a coach. So we spent a lot of time in the classroom, and he kind of was the first person, well, one of the first people, especially like in my high school mindset, to really have me challenge my faith, have me think about my faith, and have me, look at the history and have me evaluate why I believe the things that I believe. So that's like a kind of a special relationship that I had with Lad. Justin was always my coach. I had him for English my sophomore year. But our relationship was more on the field and him being my coach and just pushing me, teaching me how to work, teaching me how to lift, teaching me how to, take care of my business, be a man, keep your word. Yeah, it goes on and on, life of a Spartan,
All
life of a
right.
Spartan.
No,
Yeah.
and both those guys participated in the documentary, and
Yes. Yeah.
I because of you, I remember Lad showed up, showed up. Remember that? Well, of course you did. You set it up, I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, no, that was a highlight. And then Justin let us in. It was Dad's house. Justin was like cooking breakfast for you that day. That's when I realized. That's what I remember. Yeah, Justin really likes Egu, and oh, he does. He likes your whole family. I mean, Victor
Yeah.
as well, right?
He has a good relationship with my brother Victor. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hey, give Victor a slight plug. Tell people what Victor's doing.
Victor, he's a real estate investor, so he's getting into that market here in Southern California. So he works for a company down here that specializes in that, and he's doing his thing. He's working his way up, and we're proud of him for sure.
Yeah, and then but also it's your whole family. I mean, meeting your mom and your sister Karen. I mean, that's also neat. I mean, when I met you, I didn't know I'd meet all the Egus, and I mean,
Exactly. We roll deep as
yeah,
a squad.
exactly. Yeah, that's it. All the way from Nigeria, and
Yes, exactly,
it,
exactly.
and your mom has a unique story where did she just tell people how later in life what she's doing?
Yeah, she went back to school. That was like her mission. Like when she raises her kids, gets them to college, she wanted to go back to school. And she always told us that, like growing up, she's like, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna finish. And she did it. And we were excited, like we were so happy for her. And I knew that was huge for her because now she's blessed. Like she got the job that she wanted. And she's put her foot down here in America, coming from Nigeria as an adult, having your foot down here in America and having security, that's really hard to do as an immigrant. So for her doing that and going to school in America too, that is that's big, and we love her for that for sure.
That's it. No, she got security for you guys, and then she
Right.
got security for herself. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
No, I mean, that's probably a wonderful story there. There's just so
Yeah.
much, as I said, people look at football and football matters, but this is what really matters. I mean, this
Right.
is life,
Right.
I mean, the friendship that we have. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, just you being what are some other memories that you have being maybe football and then in the classroom or just at De La Salle?
Memories. Oh man, you talk about memories. De La Salle. The first thing I think about is football. Okay, so we had some gassers. We had some drills. We had some tires to pull, some sleds to pull. It was a hot, sunny day in Concord, California. You could smell that. I still remember that smell of the turf. Like when you walk on the field, it's just like, ooh, that smells like pain. Like that smells like it's gonna hurt. So yeah, that's my memory of De La Salle for sure. But those are like the growing pains that you needed to become a man. It's like a lot of young black men don't really have like strong male figures in their lives growing up. So football and coaches and that kind of fills that gap. That kind of creates that bond. So that's what De La Salle meant for me and my brother. It was football kept us, out of trouble. Football kept us focused on the right things, and football was instrumental to where we are right now in our lives. So that's what De La Salle means for us for sure.
Absolutely. And also what you're doing, you had a greater goal. You had to do well for yourself. But I remember you telling me you wanted to set an example for Victor.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because he was coming right behind me, so I knew I couldn't mess up, you know, and I knew I couldn't really hang out or stay out too late with some of my friends, and I kind of, you know, those moments. You know, I always remember those moments when I had to tell them no because I had to, you know, go home and be with my younger brother, take care of him, because you know, mama was working multiple jobs, you know, so and it was just always us, my sister, my brother, and myself. So we always had this tight relationship, you know, trying to figure things out.
Right? Your big little brother.
Exactly. Yep.
Where did all that size come from on him?
Man, we're still trying to figure it out because I think he might be one of the tallest, if not the tallest. He's like second in the family. Too.
Right, right. No,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of other things. As I said, also, what about, I just thought of Coach Ward, Terrell Ward. I mean, him, didn't he, when did he come up and he says you're running track? Because didn't he's helped you a lot, Coach Ward.
Oh yeah, for sure. Coach Ward. I met him, or I talked to him for the first time. It was the OC, the old cafeteria. Um, I was leaving, and I think he saw me. He like stopped me, and I was like, "How you doing, Coach? It's nice to meet you." Because I already knew who he was. And then he's like, "You're running track this spring." He just told me, and I was like, "Okay, yeah." Like, he just told me, and I was like, "I'm going." So that's how I started running track.
Right. And then
Yeah.
who did you meet up? You guys had a good 4x1.
Yes, we got a nationally ranked 4x1.
Well, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're going to say who these people are?
Oh, I mean, yeah. If you asking, yeah, Teron Ward, Tyler Anderson, and the great Chase Wheeler, and myself. We had the fastest 4x1 in Northern California history.
All right. So say no more. And I'm trying to think, what else? Am I missing anything here? I mean, it's just, I could talk to you all day. I mean, it's just the friendship.
Yeah, you know, we go way back, Brian. You know,
Yeah,
we've accomplished a lot of things together, so we know we can always talk forever.
exactly.
You know,
No,
yeah,
no. And I look at you. You're not in heaven right now. Look at that. You can't tell, but
yeah,
it's like you're on a movie set there. I mean, and
exactly.
no, I don't know. I mean, as I said, I've already said, meeting you, has opened up doors for me. Probably that wouldn't open. It's just wonderful. And as I said, it all started. It's just seeing somebody. I'm going to walk and talk to this person. He looks interesting. And then, yeah, I mean, exactly. And then it's incredible. Maybe we wrap up here. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. No, just maybe I'll give you the final word here. I mean, this has been fantastic.
Final words. I look forward to seeing you shine. I look forward to seeing what you accomplish. I'm always watching DLS 151. You know, and I'm so proud of how you've grown, as far as on Instagram and how the photos have they're really blossoming, and I just see you keep going. So, you know, I just look forward to seeing what you continue to accomplish, Brian.
Right. And well, I'll flip it. That made my day. And then I looking forward to see what Ken Egu TV accomplishes, and then what we can accomplish together, and I think that's the message, just yeah, it's just a friendship here. And I thank you for your time today. I'll hit stop here and then we can talk a little bit afterwards. But this has been one of my
Yeah,
favorite Zooms.
sure.
All righty, man.
Right on.